What's going on, guys? Today we are in or near the village of Szlamy. This is a really small village, almost hamlet place here in, I guess, the more northeastern part of Poland. And as you can see behind me, we are just down a real nothing dirt track. And in front of me, we have the same view. We are in the woods right now. This is the only sign we have here. And also this sign up here, which says Forest Road, and then it basically says you're not allowed to drive through, and if I'm not mistaken, it basically says that people are allowed in. But today we are on the hunt for the Tripoint of Poland, Lithuania and Belarus. Only the other day I went to the Russian, Polish and Lithuanian Tripoint, and I happened to be driving near the Polish, Lithuanian, Belarusian Tripoint, and so I decided to come and visit. This one is probably one of the harder tripoints in Poland to come and visit. So I drove as far as I could, and now we're walking the rest of the way. 15 minutes just with roads like this. This is literal like sand and dirt and rocks and stuff. It's really not ideal, and also what's not ideal for various reasons is the weather right now. It is raining, it's starting to get worse. For one, I'm not dressed for it. I've got shorts, shirt, that's all I've got with me. For two, this camera is not waterproof. For three, I mean, look at the road. If this road gets real bogged down, how the hell am I meant to drive out of here safely at least? I might get stuck in the middle of a forest road somewhere, and there's no connection here. This is like proper in the sticks in the northeastern part of Poland. I'm just here wanting to look for the Tripoint. Hopefully there's no cameras or anything, because I'm not sure 100% that this is okay. I don't really know, to be honest. We're just gonna have a walk through the forest, chat, and eventually hopefully find the point in which these three countries meet. It's not on Google Maps. On Google Maps, at the other one I visited in Vysztyniec, there was a marker on the map, a waypoint that says, oh, here's the tourist attraction. Here, with the Polish, Lithuanian, Belarusian Tripoint, there is no such waypoint, and so we have to just go down this road. Eventually this road will end, and then we'll have to try and find the Tripoint ourselves. Because there is no waypoint on Google Maps, I do not believe there is any physical object at the Tripoint when we get there. Also, another reason why it's shit that it's raining is because my shoes could get really ruined by doing this, because eventually it's going to be the end of the road, and then we'll get to the forest, and if the forest is all dirt and mossy and muddy and stuff, then, you know, I don't really want to get my shoes all full of mud and stuff, because they're nice shoes. For some reason right here we've got like this big fence, and it's protecting all of these like trees. I don't know what kind of trees these are, but it almost looks like someone's planting them on purpose, like a garden or something. But the fence goes all the way down there. But this isn't the border, this is still Poland, this must just be someone's land. The border, if I'm correct, is kind of in front of us, so the border's kind of like this, somewhere like that, and then Lithuania's over there. So we just have to keep walking. I've got no internet, but my phone does kind of give me an update on where I am. So if you can see there, we are heading here. The road finishes apparently there, and we need to head up there. So it's not exactly miles through the forest, but we're just kind of winging it. Like, it could be anything here. I mean, hopefully there's no dangerous animals. I know Poland does have some, and you would think that if there would be signs somewhere to be like, oh, danger, beware of the polar bear or something, you know? So yeah, I'm literally out here all on my own. Where I parked my car at the beginning of the video, and then I pointed down the road further down that way, there is one house there that must be a farmer or something, but they're there down this road. 15 minutes I drove down a road like this with no turn-offs or anything. It was just down a road pretty much looking like this for 15 minutes, and it went from a really nice tarmac road just straight onto shit, and it was like a long time just driving down, and eventually I got to where I parked my car. But there was just some guy who's just living in this house over here, and he must be the guy who owns all this land. I'm imagining. Or he's in charge of making sure the gate over there, right next to the sign that says Nie dotyczy, is opened or closed or whatever, because surely somebody has to be in charge of making sure that that gate is closed when it needs to be closed, or open when it's okay to be opened, I guess. You might not have seen the gate, but the gate was like just a green open gate as I was reading the signs right at the beginning of the video. But anyway, I'm quite excited for this. Hopefully we can actually make it to the Tripoint. My mission, along with many other things here in Poland and probably elsewhere in the world once I've completed Poland, my mission is to eventually, in some years to come, visit all 6 of the Tripoints here in Poland. As I say, only the other day, only a few videos ago, I visited the Russian, Polish, Lithuanian border, and that Tripoint there was covered in barbed wire because Russia. And now I get the opportunity to visit the Belarusian, Polish, Lithuanian Tripoint, hopefully. Like, there could easily be something that blocks me from getting to the actual Tripoint. That's the thing that kind of worries me with this a little bit. Hopefully we're able to get there. Hopefully we'll be fine. Hopefully we'll find the exact spot. Even if it's just marked with a fucking acorn that says do not enter or something, I don't know. It's just marked with anything to show and prove that I've made it to the Belarusian Tripoint with Poland and Lithuania, then I'll be happy. Because then that'll be 2 out of 6 Tripoints visited in Poland, and then the other 4 I'll have to visit at some other point in my life when I'm back in Poland, because on this particular trip I'm on, I got no more Tripoints to visit because the rest are miles away from here. If you're curious, by the way, the other Tripoints are Poland, Belarus and Ukraine, Poland, Ukraine and Slovakia, Poland, Slovakia and Czechia, and Poland, Czechia and Germany. They are the other 4 that eventually I'll be able to visit. And most probably I could have visited the Czech and Slovakia one and the Czech and the German one, but I haven't, because when I've been in those areas, it has still been kind of out of the way to go to. But like I say, it's a mission that I'm in no rush to complete, but once I completed it, there will be a video kind of highlighting my visit to all 6 Tripoints here in Poland. At first I thought, oh, I could do it in one trip in Poland. I could just drive around the edge of Poland and just visit them all. But as you can see with this one today, for example, it's not exactly the easiest to access here in Poland sometimes to get to various locations. The ones down south near like Slovakia, I think they must be up in the mountains somewhere. They might not even be accessible. I don't know. It's just an idea I had. Oh yeah, I'll get to all 6 Tripoints in Poland. It'll be like a cool little accomplishment. Although the sign said Nie dotyczy, I really was contemplating for a good minute whether I just say screw it and I just go down this road, drive down here and avoid walking through this forest while it's raining, because I'm not getting soaked, but I'm not exactly happy with how wet I am at the moment. But I guess sometimes you have to make these sacrifices if you want to visit said places, if you want to go off the beaten path and go to places which, I mean, this by all means could be touristy, but I mean, do you see any tourists? The whole time I've been here, I've been on my own. I've not seen a single soul since I entered this road, all the way back down there before I started the video, 15 kilometers back there or whatever. So we are pretty much in the sticks, in the forests of Poland. This is quite a nice little walk. I've done a few little forest walks this holiday, but this is like a really peaceful one because there's no one else around. I'm just chilling by myself. Look, there's not even been any cars that come up and down. And so far it hasn't exactly been a trek as such through the mossy jungle. It's just been a walk down a paved road. Not paved, but a walk down a semi already tracked road, you know, something I know is pretty solid, even though a lot of it's just sand. I thought when I left Piaski like a few days ago, and I finished that 5-episode series of exploring coastal Poland, and I got back to my car after I'd stopped filming, that's it for sand, that I won't see sand again. And yet my whole time in Lithuania there was sand, and now today here, this is all sand and mud and dirt and stuff, but there's sand here. I keep finding sand everywhere. And just when I think I've desanded the car and I've desanded my shoes and my socks, there's just more sand everywhere. Like every time I go out to explore somewhere, there's just sand, 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 sand. Right, guys, we are not too far away from where the map reckons that this road ends. There is a possibility that when I showed you on the phone that the road ended at a certain point and we have to go like this through the forest to like get to the Tripoint, there is a possibility that the road just continues straight to the border. Because I have seen, for example, at Piaski, it did the same thing. It said the road ended at a certain point and then you have to just walk through forests, but what you actually do is you just continue walking down the pre-made path. And potentially it will be all the way to the border, because what's the point of having this long road if it just ended all of a sudden? Like, this road obviously has to lead to somewhere, and probably it leads to the border so that, you know, they can go and put up new fences or barbed wire or whatever else they need to go visit the border for. It's now luckily stopped raining as well. I'm quite happy with that. I am a bit wet now and there's flies still around me, but it has stopped raining, and that's a positive right now, because now that it stopped raining I can kind of enjoy myself a lot more. Even though luckily it wasn't like hammering it down, I was sat in my car for a while waiting for the rain to kind of quieten down, because I mean I would have got soaked if I got out as soon as I got here. I love Poland for this. I love Poland for just naturey walks. I don't do it all that often, honestly. Most of the time in Poland I'm exploring cities and towns, but this side of Poland is fucking amazing. I just love it. Like the fact that this big country full of, I think, 40 million or so people, you can just come to the, I say jungle, but like forest, I don't really know the difference. You can come to the forests and you can just, you know, have a nice little walk. This is your view for hours on end if you want, all day long if you want. It's just peaceful. It's so nice. And then obviously if you want to, you can like kind of spot spiders and other insects. I don't show them because probably half of the people who potentially ever watch this video would be arachnophobes, but loads of really cool spider webs along the edges of these. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. I'm seeing, I think, a silver metal gate right at the end, or like a fence even, not a gate or whatever, just like the silver metal bars. I could be wrong. We've passed where I said the road would end and we're still continuing. And the road does still continue, the map just doesn't show it. So that means luckily we don't have to like all of a sudden veer off this way somewhere through the forest and get lost. Because I don't know if I have good directional skills, to be honest. I'm just like, I could get there, but then getting back I might end up getting lost. Even though, to be fair, I do have Google Maps that still kind of is loading a little bit, even though the internet is pretty much non-existent here. So one thing I wish you could just take away from any kind of nature walk are the flies. I love the bugs, I love the insects, the wildlife in general, but the flies, man, can you just fucking give me a break? Can you give me some personal space? It wasn't as much of a trek as I thought, just because we just followed this road for ages. Technically I could have just driven down here, but I've quite enjoyed the walk actually, despite the rain and the flies and everything. Right in front of me we've got that view, and you may be able to see a bit better now the fence. This isn't the Tripoint up ahead, but this is going to be the border with Belarus. We still need to go that way a little bit. When we get down we need to go left and head up a little bit to find the spot that is the Tripoint with Belarus and Lithuania. If I died right now, like, nobody would ever know. Like, if there was like an assassin sat there or something, nobody would ever know that I would just disappear. I'd just, oh, he's just never come back from Poland. I guess he's dead then. Oh, mad. I guess you are allowed to walk down here then. Like, I wasn't too sure, but there's a toilet there, so surely that's there for when people do come down here. Unless it's just for like the workers. I've noticed throughout the last few weeks while I've been here in Poland, not few weeks, but you know what I mean, last week and a half, whatever. Oh, and then the road goes way down there, but we're not going down there, luckily. I've noticed over the last week and a bit that Poland, I thought it was just along the coast to be honest, but Poland in general you find a lot of toilets like this around, which is quite useful. It's quite useful just to, well, to have around. Oh shit. Yo, I didn't realise. Obviously, like in the news with Poland and Belarus especially, Belarus, oh, it's such a long story. Belarus basically sent in a load of migrants into Poland, and so Poland were like, well, screw you, stop sending migrants into our country. And they were doing it because Russia wanted to send migrants into the EU, and they wanted to do it via Belarus because they bordered Poland. And I think beforehand, the border had no fences and no gates or anything. But now, since then, they put up a gate, a fence or whatever. But this is more so than with Russia, which is mad. And I've seen this. There's a guy, mad, I've just got a text saying, welcome to Belarus. What the hell? It thinks I'm in Belarus. That's crazy. So I'm really blanking. I quite like this guy's content. He's a little bit polarizing, I guess, but his name will be on the screen somewhere. It's gutting, I can't remember his name. I haven't got internet to really remind myself right now. But he came here on a video called I Investigated Poland's Border Situation or something. He came here with one of the guys, you know, in Polish politics anyway. And yeah, and they said in that video as well that like there was a point in which a Polish soldier was killed because one of the migrants from the Belarusian side threw a spear through the border and killed a guard right here. There's police right there. I don't know. Oh, they might be here for me. Dzień dobry. Ooh, we're not even at the Tripoint yet. I don't know if we're allowed at the Tripoint because the Tripoint is actually up that way, but the fence kind of blocks it. Nie rozumiem. Jestem dobry tutaj. O.
I pana tutaj mam. Tak sobie wyglądają realia pracy, słuchajcie.
No żyjecie! A często się tak wam zdarza, że ktoś
Cały
tak
czas musimy no niestety reagować i legitymować i patrzeć, kto się przemieszcza w pobliżu granicy.
No i pracę niepotrzebnie nie robimy.
No dokładnie.
That was an interesting event. I'm currently in Augustów, which is a town nearby. I was planning on coming here anyway after visiting the Tripoint. Ultimately, I never got to visit the Tripoint, as you probably saw. What happened was after she told me to turn off the camera, I turned off the camera and then I basically was asked to get into the back of their car. The car in which they asked me to get into the back of is not the police, it was actually the Straż Graniczna, which is the border guard here in Poland. And so I got into the back of it and they drove me all the way back to my car. And the reason I got into the car in the first place because they asked me for my passport documents and I said, my passport's at my car and it's like way down there because I've just walked for 20 minutes or whatever. They go, okay, we'll drive down to your car. They were really nice. It wasn't like they were threatening or anything. They were just like, oh, why are you here? So I go, oh, I'm just trying to film a video where I'm visiting the Tripoint. And they go, that's not possible. You can't visit this Tripoint. And I was like, oh, okay. And then anyway, we go to my car. I give them the passport. I'm not quite sure what happened exactly. She was there saying she couldn't get something to load and we might have to go down there a little bit. But she said it wasn't Wi-Fi or 4G or anything. It was some other issue. Anyway, it took a while because of that unknown issue, which I'm not sure what she was on about. So we go down a little bit further, like 100 meters further, not far from where I'd parked my car. And there was this like little bit where tourists would go. There's like information boards of like mushroom picking in the forest and stuff. So like tourists go there and they asked me to wait there and I waited there for a while. All in all, it was about 45 minutes. They come back to me eventually and gave me my passport and said, off you go. And it was pretty much all that. When we got back to my car and I gave them my passport, there was 3 motorcyclists that came along. They were all Polish. And they were like, oh, can we go further up the road? And they were like, no, you can't. And we now need to see your documents as well. And for some reason, when I left, half an hour after waiting for them to like check my documents, they were still there. They couldn't go. The woman went to them and go, you're good, but we need to double check your documents, your passport or whatever. So I'm not quite sure what happened there with the people on the motorbikes, but at least I was good to go. And I was surprised, actually. It was pretty calm. I didn't feel threatened or anything. I'm not sure if I should have done. I was just sat there like chilled, kind of just waiting for them to come back and give me the all clear. I tried to film some of it, but they were pretty hot on me having the camera there, and so they were like, turn off the camera. When you initially saw them walking up to me, they were like, turn off the camera. I was like, fine. We got back to the car, and I got into my car. I tried to set my camera back up on the tripod, just sit it there in the car so I could have my microphone recording it. And the woman comes up behind me and she goes, no, you can't record this, turn it off. And I was just like, oh, okay, sure. And I turned it off because I didn't want to get into more trouble than I potentially was. Although they said to me, I'm not in trouble. They said, we just need to check your passport to make sure that you're not of any threat, basically. Obviously, they're the border guards of two nations which don't have the best relationship. With everything that Belarus has done to Poland in the last couple of years, and then obviously with the whole Russia and Ukraine thing, and Belarus being pretty much like a smaller brother of Russia, yeah, like Poland aren't big fans of that. And so that's why there's that humongous wall that you saw for like a split second in this video before they asked me to shut off the camera. I didn't even have time to properly like get a selfie with the wall or get my phone up to take a photo on my phone or anything like that, because they came along pretty quick. I was still trying to explain how the YouTuber Tyler Oliveira, who I now remember his name, had visited. I'm pretty sure that spot there, it looked just the same, which is why when I got there I was like, oh, I remember this place. It's from that YouTuber who at the time I couldn't remember, but Tyler Oliveira was the YouTuber. And I was just like trying to explain the situation. The border guards come along and I'm like, oh no, I don't have time now to take photos on my phone or anything. And it all went over my head. I just kind of forgot. But I had a little bit anyway on the camera because I didn't stop filming until they had asked me to. Kurwa mać osa. And yeah, that's pretty much everything. I mean, even if they hadn't have asked me to stop filming, that wouldn't have been really that great footage to use anyway, realistically. I mean, there wasn't a lot said. I said to them, am I in trouble? They say no. And they were just chatting a little bit, to be honest. It was calm. It wasn't like the seriousness you expected it to be. I asked them, has it always been tense between the two countries? She said pretty much it's always been that way. It's always been, I thought it's only been for the last few years. Apparently it's been like that for ages. And yeah, like the majority of that 45-minute window between when they asked me to stop filming and when I got back in my car and drove off, there wasn't a lot of talking. Honestly, like a lot of it was them with my passport walking away up the forest somewhere, thinking I'd never see my passport again, just trying to get, I assumed, connection. But I asked her, is it a Wi-Fi issue? And she goes, it's not to do with Wi-Fi. So I'm not quite sure what it is exactly, but it was a long wait. Yeah, I got the all clear to go ahead and go off on my merry way. It's a real shame that I couldn't visit the Tripoint, because it means that the idea of visiting all 6 Tripoints in Poland is now kind of failed at the second one. It also means that I will have trouble trying to visit the Ukrainian, Polish, Belarusian Tripoint as well, because obviously that's also including Belarus as well. And if I've had that issue here, I'm going to have that issue at the Ukrainian, Polish side of it as well. That's for future me to worry about, to be fair. Hopefully I can still visit the other 4 and then make that at least 5 out of 6 that I can visit and still make a video out of it. But yeah, I mean, this is currently where this stands. My only way of thinking, like, is there any way that I can visit the one I tried to visit today, is if Dominik Tarczyński, the same guy who was in Tyler Oliveira's video, who gave him access to that same border, was able to somehow, contact me, or if I was able to contact him for that matter, because he wouldn't care about me. But if we were able to contact each other and somehow arrange for me to get to that Tripoint, that's the only way I can get to that Tripoint, I think. Otherwise, there was just no way. I mean, you saw in this video, I was still a few hundred meters away from the actual point, but I got to about as close as I could where I was stood with the camera. I could have walked a bit closer to that border, sure, but I was still kind of taking it all in, as it were, and trying to explain whatever I was explaining at the time. So yeah, like, I don't know. how do I get in contact with Dominik Tarczyński? Like, that would be a sick idea, wouldn't it? Like, for me to contact Dominik Tarczyński and somehow have him in a video and just let's go to the Tripoint together. But the chances of that happening are like really low. I have no idea how Tyler Oliveira did it, but then obviously he has, you know, millions of subscribers. I have 2,000, so there's a big difference, and that might make all the difference in it. But never say never. You never know. I might even try and contact Dominik Tarczyński at some point and just see if I can get a hold of him, because obviously he was able to give Tyler Oliveira the clearance to go to the border. If he was able to give me the clearance to go with him to the Tripoint, which is just up the road from that, that would be a really cool video in itself, you know. So yeah, I don't know. That's my only way I can think of how I can visit that Tripoint. But as it stands, this Tripoint has technically been failed to visit because I haven't been able to get to it. I was this close, but no cigar, I guess. And yeah, it's about as close as anyone can get without getting into serious shit, I think. The border guards, they were cool. I mean, they didn't seem like they wanted to do anything like serious, but I don't know what punishment would have happened if I was to continue walking. I obviously would not have gone past the barriers, which obviously don't go past barrier because they're all barbed wire and stuff. But I don't know if there was any repercussions for going closer than what I was, because obviously I was stood fairly far back. I saw there were cameras, so it wasn't a surprise that they came along. I wasn't really sure on like how it was going to progress, and they were pretty chill. Like it was no biggie realistically. They were the reason why I couldn't visit today, and that's a real shame. I'm just glad they never asked me to delete my footage, because if they would have asked me to, I would have had to have complied, because I mean, they had my passport. Like, what could I have done? Like, delete your footage, but it would have meant having to delete everything you've seen in this video, which was just a walk through the forest realistically. But I mean, this video is still my attempt at visiting the Belarusian, Lithuanian, Polish Tripoint, which obviously is a fail, as you've seen. So yeah, I'm just happy they haven't asked me to delete the footage, and yeah, that's pretty much that. Yeah, who knows? Let's see in the future whether we can somehow get authorization from Dominik Tarczyński to visit the Tripoint. Realistically, I would probably need him to help me visit that Tripoint, but also the Ukrainian, Polish and Belarusian Tripoint as well, because I'm probably going to find out that that one is also going to have the same issue due to the same reasoning that I did today. So anyway, I'm all fine, I'm safe. I'm here in Augustów right now, just enjoying a beer, Kozel, which I believe is a Czech beer, but it's still a nice beer, and just having fun, chilling. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching this video. I wish it could have gone a bit smoother with visiting the Tripoint, but yeah, I can't exactly recommend to go visit this one. I'm going to still attempt to visit the other Tripoints, of course, but the other one that's going to give me issues will be the Ukrainian, Polish, Belarusian one. I think the other 4 in the country are going to be quite easy to visit. But anyway, that's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. And if you're able to get a hold of Dominik Tarczyński while this wasp is trying to attack me, or if Dominik Tarczyński is able to watch this and give me some kind of special access with him along my side, of course, then please let me know. I'm more than happy to try and arrange something. It sounds mad even me trying to propose that at someone who just has like a couple thousand subscribers on YouTube, but I'm hoping that like the fact that I'm a big fan of Poland and that I really enjoy the Polish culture, and that I'm trying to learn the language, and that I've made like tens of videos of me coming to Poland and visiting different places and cities and towns and trying to interact with the people, whatever. Like I'm hoping that my videos in Poland will kind of show that I have a desire to visit like pretty much wherever I can in Poland. And it's not just like I'm some bozo who just wants to go to these Tripoints and then like fuck off or anything. Like I actually want to visit these places and see the extremes of Poland because I'm fascinated with this country, and I'm hoping that somehow that fascination is going to go some way into helping me get in contact one day maybe with Dominik Tarczyński. But until then, and if I never get in contact with him, it's all good, it's whatever. But until then, thank you very much for watching this video. And I mentioned Dominik Tarczyński, but realistically, anybody in the political party that could give me that access, I'd be fine with. I just mentioned Dominik Tarczyński's name because he's the guy who was in Tyler Oliveira's video, so that's the one that I'm kind of gravitating towards, because in that video he seemed like a pretty like open dude. He seemed pretty chill actually. He seemed like a nice guy to spend some time with. So yeah, I don't know. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.